Have you ever thought about this? That the money in your bank might not actually be there. This isn't a metaphor, and it's definitely not a conspiracy. But what if everyone tried to withdraw their money from the bank at the same time? The whole system would collapse instantly, because that money doesn't really exist. This isn't a mistake. It's the system itself, a game that's been played since the very beginning, and it's become so normal, no one even notices anymore. This system has a name: Fractional Reserve Banking, and it sits at the very heart of today's world of debt, inflation, and fake wealth. Let's go back to medieval Europe. Back then, money was real. Gold and silver. The rich kept shining gold and silver coins in their chests, but carrying them around was risky. So people started entrusting their gold to goldsmiths. Goldsmiths kept the gold safe and gave people receipts in return. After a while, everyone realized something. They didn't need to carry their gold around. The receipt worked just as well. And at that moment, the greatest trick in history was born. Goldsmiths noticed something interesting. No one came to claim their gold all at once. Most of it just sat there in the vault. So they thought, what if I have $1,000 worth of gold, but issue $2,000 worth of receipts? Nothing happened, because nobody noticed. And that day, money that didn't exist was born. Not money backed by gold, money backed by promises. It wasn't just an illusion, it was a new beginning. Over time, banks emerged. The goldsmith small illusion became an official system, and governments quickly caught on. In 1694, the Bank of England was founded, but not for the people, for the state. The government borrowed money from banks, money that didn't actually exist. Banks created it out of nothing, with interest, and the debt was repaid with taxes. Sounds familiar? Because the same system still runs today. You deposit $1,000 into the bank. You think it's there, safe and sound. But the bank only keeps a tiny fraction of it. The rest is loaned out, and every time a loan is made, new money is created. Eventually, that first $1,000 multiplies, through a small illusion, into almost $10,000. But in reality, the actual cash might still be just $10, and today they don't even have to keep that much. Since 2020 in the US, the reserve ratio is 0. That means this whole system runs purely on trust. Banks are no longer limited by reserves. Instead, they're guided by Basel Regulations, a global set of rules. And do you know who writes those rules? Not elected officials, but a group of central bankers meeting in Basel, Switzerland. They decide how much risk banks can take, how much cash they should hold, and what assets count as safe. So your money isn't even under your own government's control anymore. Banks no longer lend out deposits. It's the opposite. They create deposits by lending. When you take a mortgage, the bank doesn't hand you money from its vault. It just adds a new number to the system. In that moment, money is created, and so is debt. That's why 90% of the world's money is actually debt. And this illusion leads to 3 inevitable consequences. Inflation. Because the same money is created over and over again. Value drops, prices rise, debt cycle. Money can only exist through debt. If everyone paid their debts at once, the illusion would collapse. Concentration of power. Those who control money are no longer just rich. They've become money itself. In 1929, people rushed to the banks. They wanted their money back. But the money wasn't there. Banks collapsed. In 2008, the mortgage bubble burst. Same story again, and every time they said, "We fixed it." But nothing really changed. They only made the illusion stronger. Because in this illusion, they need you to stay in debt. As long as you owe, the illusion survives. But once you see it, it weakens. True wealth isn't numbers. Real wealth is land, knowledge, skill, production, the things they can't take from you. Next time you check your bank account, ask yourself, how real are those numbers? Because this illusion exists, only as long as you believe in it. But once you see through it, you start playing the game yourself. This isn't just a story about money, it's a story about freedom.